Hello everyone, welcome to my Doom Eternal at Eternal's Gate production breakdown, or how I made the track from scratch. And I'm gonna be explaining what I used, what type of gear I used, the guitars, and hopefully I'll show you how to play the track on guitar as well. At the end there will be timestamps, you can check it down below if you want to skip and don't care about like the production and just want to play the guitar. I'll put the timestamps down below for you to check it out. Now, I won't be making the tracks from scratch in this video, but if you guys want me to do tracks from scratch like the covers, then I could do that in a live stream. And if you guys want to see that, just give this video a like or comment it down below. Now, first off, let's get into how the BPM and the time signature, because that is very important in the Doom music. Because by the way, there will be lots of ums and ahs. Hopefully I'll cut those out. And in the Doom music, the BPM and the time signature, especially the time signature, is super important because you always want to be on time. Duh. Like, you should know this as a musician, but sometimes you make those mistakes, and I've done that. And make sure you know the time signature of the track before you lay down everything, because if you lay down all of the track in 4/4, then you're gonna be in a lot of shit basically, because you're gonna have to reset everything, you're gonna have to time align everything again, which can be a hassle. And if you have automation, then you're gonna have to readjust everything. It's a hassle, so adjust it from the beginning and save yourself the time. And also, this track is in 100 BPM, which is a lot slower for Doom, because we've had a lot of fast tracks, but this one is fairly slow and nice, so you don't have to like strum insanely fast. I don't think any of the tracks like do that, so it's fairly easy to play, and it's like 4 notes, which I'll show you. First off, what I like to do with every track is have a reference track that I can work on, but I turn it off like once I play the track, which hopefully it's not too loud. So I'm gonna shut up. As you can see, you can't hear this track because it's turned off. I mainly use this for a reference, and if I want to hear it, I just solo it and play it. So essentially, the first thing I do, and I learned this quick, and make sure you do this, is lay down. The first thing you do is lay down the drums. Even if it's only one section, the drums set the rhythm for the track. Especially like heavy metal and tracks like the Doom soundtrack, you need to know the rhythm of the drums. So first thing I did was lay down the drums, which I used Kontakt, I used GGD, Modern and Massive. It's a great sounding kit. Obviously, I added some effects. You can use any GGD or Superior drummer, but for me, I'm a very lazy person and I don't want to bother with processing drums, so I just use GGD, and they have amazing sounds from the get-go. And I added some Fat Kick Supercharger. This isn't the full version. I know the full version adds a lot of parameters which makes a lot of difference, but I just wanted the kick to be really fat, and this one really helps. And I added some reverb, and of course a compressor, which makes it a bit more humanizing. And this is how the drum sounds. It's as the name of the pack. It's really modern and massive, which is the right thing you need for Doom. And once this is laid down, once I'm done with the drums, the second thing I do is lay down the guitars. And the guitars, now you'll see this setup right here. This won't be in the version that you listen to on YouTube. Hopefully this will be in the Spotify version. Because I used a different amp for the YouTube version, because I didn't have this, which I just got this. I got the Archetype Nolly just yesterday, and I messed around with it, and the sound of it is just incredible. Like, the sounds in that is just insane. And I also got the Kali Oversize, which I did not use for this, and this was really good on its own. And the sound of this is incredible. I'll use this one for the Spotify version, so make sure you listen to that one. And so I added this, the Archetype Nolly, and I used the Blood Eagle preset, which is the same guitar tone that Periphery used in their track Blood Eagle. As you can see, I'm a huge Periphery fan because I have both GGD and the Archetype Nolly, so no bias whatsoever. And I added some EQ, not too much. I lowered some of the mids and like did the normal guitar, lowering the ends and the very highs, standard guitar. And I added an OTT because the guitar was kind of low for the track. So adding OTT just adds this sound that you can't get if you play the guitar. Even with like, if you put the gain out super high, it's just, the compression in OTT is just different. And this is the settings I used: 5.5 dB in gain, out gain 10.2 dB, just the right amount of gain for it to not be too loud and annoying. And since I used a 6-string guitar, I had to lower down some of the high ends because it sounded really squeaky, and raise the low end just a bit. And that's the OTT I used. By the way, I used the exact same settings on both guitars. They're both the same. And I recommend using that. If you have an 8-string guitar, you don't need to get rid of the high end. I'm pretty sure the notes that you'll be playing is low enough for that. And yeah, this is basically the guitar settings. And this is how it sounds. Let me activate both of them. So yeah, this is how it sounds. So yeah, this is how the guitars sound. And the drums and the guitars are the two things that I'll do first. Like, these two are like the most important aspect of the track. And the rest is just like creaming on the cake. You add the sound effects. Now, another thing in the Doom track is this squeaky, like screamy type of synth that Mick Gordon uses in BFG Division, The Only Thing They Fear Is You. It's basically in every Doom track. So, and he uses analog gear for that, which I don't have. It's an analog synth that he uses, the Russian one. I don't own that. So I use Vacuum Pro. Now, the part where like the whistle is, I didn't get that sound as well. I tried. And the part with the guitar, it's played on the guitar, but since I'm playing on a 6-string, it sounded so high. Like, the squeakiness was way too high and did not sound like a guitar. So I used a synth for that one instead. What I used was this Vacuum Pro. This is a distorted, like an vintage distorted, it almost sounds like the Russian synth, but not quite. And it has some great presets. It has a lot of presets that you can mess around with. But the preset that I'm using is the same is done by my good friend Jeff Plays Guitar. Check him out in the description because some of the samples, I use some of his stems in my work. He's a great guy. Go check out his YouTube channel. It'll be in the description. And basically, wait, let me turn this on, it won't make any sound. It sounds like this. It has this screamy, crunchy type of sound that you can get from Doom. And this is what I use for the main melody. And this is how it sounds. Sounds really good. And you can call me lazy for not trying myself, but since I had the option, I was like, why the fuck not? And there's this part where like after this part ends, there is this part. Wait, let me solo this. This part right here, I tried mimicking that. I used the same preset of Jeff's, but I adjusted the ring modulation on that. The ring, so it adds a bit more scream to it, which sounds like this. And here as well, it's this one as well is basically the same thing, but I raise it an octave up, so it sounds like this. Oh, that probably was really loud. Sorry. And what is this? Same notes of the guitar, but played on the synth. Yeah, it's the same note played on the guitar, but this time I put it in the synth. I noted it down, and it is in the background, so you can't really hear it. It blends in with the ones above, with these two. So yeah, it's some spice added to it. And the next thing on the list is the bass. And if you can hear it in the original track, there is a bass playing. Let me play it. And as you can see, there's a bass playing. And I tried mimicking that. I don't know if that's a bass, like a bass guitar. But I used a bass guitar for that part, and like everyone else, I used Ample Bass P2 Lite. It's a great sounding. It's a great sounding bass. Like I have a lot of distortion on that, and I use that. Using this is free tube distortion, if I'm correct, and I just upped the drive and the tone to insane amount to get the kind of crunchy but not too distorted tone, and it sounds like this. Sounds really good. And the rest after that is just all sound effects that you laid down. The other thing that I did was this bass thing with white noise, the sine wave with the white noise that Mick Gordon did in the original Doom 2016, but I didn't go too extreme with it, and it just sounds like this. It basically sounds like a fart. But what I wanted to do using that was fill this empty gap in the background and like use it as a bass. I already have a bass guitar, but this guitar is used as an instrument, not as a background. So I wanted to add an element to the background, which I used Vital. I don't have Serum yet, but I used Vital, which is pretty similar. It's using some sine and white noise. And with all that, adding a guitar amp, which did the sound, and I adjusted some of the knobs. I didn't just use the preset, I adjusted the knobs, and I got the sound. Now, the rest is just train brakes, which you can hear in the original track. Let me see. Yeah, it's just train brakes that you use. It adds this element of like pushing, and some exhaust that you can use, and a lot of risers. I used the Kishmir samples for that, which are great. Like he has some great samples. And yeah, this is basically it. This is how the track came to be, and I'm really proud of it. And yeah, this is how it came out. And if you guys want to see me make the tracks from scratch, as I said, I'll do a live stream on it on YouTube. It'll probably be very boring because most of the time I'm either playing on the guitar or adjusting a lot of knobs or like switching, deleting a lot of things. But if you guys are interested in that, then I'll be glad to do it. And one last thing, I used this Ibanez, I think it's, oh wait, let me pull it up. It's this Ibanez Geo, I think it's GT 121. I got this for $300, and this is what I played on. And I'll be showing you guys the tutorial on how to play it on the guitar. It's so simple. Like, it's such a simple riff, but it has such a big impact, which is the genius of Mick Gordon. Like how much he can make tracks sound so epic with only 4 notes in a riff. So yeah, I'll be seeing you guys in the guitar section. So here is my recording, and here's my guitar. Now this is a 6-string guitar, and it's in standard E standard tuning. Now you can, if you have an 8-string guitar, then you play this on drop E, which is the same thing as E standard because you have an E string, open E string in the lowest note. If you have an 8-string, then it's the 8th string, and if you have a 6-string, then it's the 6th string. Essentially, what the riff is, it's the 12th fret, and then you slide to the 8th fret, the 5th fret, the 1st fret, and you strum each fret 4 times. So essentially it goes like this. So yeah, it's pretty easy. Now let me turn on the amp and see how it sounds with the distortion and with the tone. So essentially it goes like this. And that's it. 4 times on the 12th fret, slide, 8th fret, 5th fret, 1st fret. So it plays like this. That's how it is, essentially. I played very sloppy because I did not practice. I know this doesn't need practice, but I suck at guitar. And it is a very easy riff that you can play essentially anywhere, and it's really easy to do on a 6-string guitar. As you can see, you don't need an 8-string to play the track. I know some of the track do need an 8-string or 9-string guitars, but this riff is fairly easy to do. So yeah, essentially it goes like this. And that's it. And you keep repeating that. But when you finish on your last strum on the 1st fret, you slide down again to the 12th fret, which is right here. I have to sit like this because the camera that I'm using is a webcam, so I can't go professional. This is the best I can do. But essentially what you do is the 12th fret is here, and you go to the 8th fret, the 5th fret, and in the end, the 1st fret. And that's it. That's how you play the riff, and it is as easy as that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching that. If you enjoyed that video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more tracks like that, more covers, and more deep dives into the makings of the track, be sure to give the channel a subscribe to see more of that in the future. And I'll be seeing you guys next time. Peace.